Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Karam, I want to touch on something that you mentioned in your written testimony, which is that pipeline safety law currently prevents the Pipeline Hazardous Material Safety Administration, or PHMSA, which we are discussing today, from imposing safety regulations on existing pipelines. And that was, frankly, shocking to me. It means that it will be a monumental task to make the existing 3.3 million miles of pipelines in our communities safer. Can you talk about how this requirement prevents us from making the most dangerous pipelines in America safer? And should we look at altering that requirement in any reauthorization of PHMSA?
Yeah, thank you for that question. The Pipeline Safety Act passed by Congress has a section in it, a provision, where it says that any design, construction, or initial testing standards adopted by PHMSA cannot apply to existing pipelines, only new and replaced pipelines. So, operational regulations and things like that can apply to existing pipelines, but those, initial testing, design, and construction standards cannot. And what that means in practice is that PHMSA has been unable to make certain life-saving regulatory changes, including those recommended by the NTSB after tragedies like San Bruno, like requiring rupture mitigation valves in high-consequence areas that we know would save lives. So in practice, this permanently exempts about half of the nation's pipelines from and including those at the highest risk from meeting critical modern safety standards.
Thank you so much, Mr. Karam. And as you mentioned, it's important to highlight something that you said. Half of pipelines in the U.S. are essentially blocked from having these additional safety standards for communities and workers on them and being updated to be safer. Ms. Miller, you represent an association of pipeline companies, and I see here in your testimony that it states that your members, quote, appreciate improved due process, unquote, for companies that violate the laws as a priority. I want to discuss the consequences for pipeline companies when they fail to follow the law and PHMSA's rules. Just over 5 years ago, an employee of Energy Transfer, a pipeline company and a member of your organization, was killed while conducting maintenance activities on a gas pipeline in Kansas. This employee was attempting to remove an object that had become stuck due to ice in a partly pressurized pipeline. Now, PHMSA's rules require operators to completely depressurize pipelines before working on them. But this worker was attempting to remove the object using a steel rod when the object became dislodged and, due to remaining pressure in the pipeline, struck him in the abdomen and killed him. Now Energy Transfer is in court, arguing that it should not be held to account for the fact that it did not follow PHMSA's rules. Mr. Chair, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record a complaint brought by the Attorney General in the Northern District Court of Texas.
Without objection, so ordered.
This complaint states that, quote, PHMSA's investigation indicates that Energy Transfer failed to follow its manual of written procedures for conducting operations and maintenance activities at the Borcher station in connection with this fatal incident. Someone died. Now, one of the biggest companies in the industry, Energy Transfer, is in court arguing that PHMSA shouldn't be able to hold any company that violates its rules responsible. Ms. Miller, you mentioned due process for companies that violate laws in your testimony as a priority. In your opinion, if a pipeline company does not follow the rules and a worker is killed, should PHMSA be able to hold that company responsible?
Thank you for the question, Congresswoman. I would say that any specific questions about Energy Transfer's litigation, I would have to defer to them. But for our GPA midstream members, generally speaking, we do encourage that our members are able to rely on a strong enforcement protocol and that it is executed in a way that is transparent and complies with law, due process being part of that, to ensure that there are.
I apologize, I only have 15 seconds left. Should PHMSA be able to hold the companies responsible?
We do believe that PHMSA should be a strong enforcement agency and equitably apply its rules across the industry.
Okay, great. So they should be able to hold these companies responsible. And yet we are in an environment where the Trump administration and their enforcement actions against pipeline
Oh,
companies.
I'm sorry, the general lead time has expired.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.